Welcome back to GSMC's Down by Contact Sports Podcast. I am your host, Jeremy Lapidus. Today is Monday, May 19th. If you're just tuning in, we just finished going over the NBA Conference Finals, who I have winning each of the two series, the Pacers and the Knicks in the East, and the Timberwolves and the Thunder out West. In this segment, we turn our attention to the ice, the other playoffs going on right now. They too have just reached the conference finals. The Eastern Conference is set as the Carolina Hurricanes look to dethrone the Carolina Panthers, who have been to two straight Stanley Cup final games, series, I should say. And the Dallas Stars look to take down the Oilers, who also made it out of the West last season. But before we do, remember, if you would like to be an even bigger part of the show than you already are, all you need to do is go to gsmcpodcast.net. Or if you're on YouTube, you can use that super chat feature. If you do either of those two things, a message should pop up on the bottom of the screen for you, me, and everybody else around the world to see. If you do have a burning question about sports, anything at all that you would like to ask, go ahead and throw that in the comments. Throw it in the chat. I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. I appreciate everybody so much for sticking around, talking some sports with me here on a beautiful Monday, May 19th. But like I was saying, we are going to get into a little bit of hockey talk here. The NHL Conference Finals are set. We'll start off in the Eastern Conference this time, taking a look at the conference at the battle between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Florida Panthers. These two teams are probably the two best in the East right now. I think the playoff bracket did a very good job of sorting itself out this season. The Canes right now are led by Freddie Anderson, who is playing out of his mind right now, shutting down a high-flying Washington Capitals offense to eliminate them in 5, while the Panthers are riding a win streak of their own. That is now 4 out of the last 5 games that they have won, led by Brad Marchand and their goalie Sergei Bobrovsky. They took care of business against the Toronto Maple Leafs, who have now lost 7 straight Game 7s. That is a ridiculous stat. Brad Marchand, of course, was the one that turned it all around. And I think really the part where the Leafs got in trouble is when goaltender Anthony Stolarz was caught vomiting, and Game 3 did not return to the series. That game ended in overtime, where Brad Marchand ended it, and in Game 7, he had a hat trick en route to an absolute devastating blowout in Game 7 that saw the Leafs, who probably are done with this exact core. You still have Austin Matthews, but Mitch Marner, free agent, it seems like, with his frustrations, that's going to be a huge swing for the Leafs to get, and they still have not won anything in a very, very long time. But the Florida Panthers are looking to make their 3rd straight Stanley Cup final. They won last year. They are the defending Stanley Cup champions. They have won the East 2 years in a row now. They're looking to win their 2nd straight and, of course, make it to the championship for 3 straight seasons, led by very much the same core. They're going up against the Carolina Hurricanes team that has been so close for so long. Freddie Anderson has been amazing in goal for them. He has been the rock that they needed him to be against the Capitals, a very high-flying, high-powered offense. He did not let anything get by him. Less than 2 goals allowed per game in that series. He was phenomenal. That offense is nothing to joke about either. You are led by an incredibly strong group of guys, not just on the first line, but you can go all the way down, the 3rd, the 4th, all the way down to the 4th line. That defense is amazing as well, led by some of the best defensemen in the league, including Jacob Slavin, who was the hero who sent the game to overtime, I should say, for the U.S. in the U.S. versus Canada game that they ultimately ended up losing. But still, he is someone that is mostly known for defense, but can show up on offense when he is absolutely needed to. And this is a Canes team that is not going to go down easy. Neither is that Florida Panthers squad. Like we said, they are battle-tested, battle-hardened, and they know how to deal with the moment. The lights will never be too big for the Florida Panthers. Instead, this series is going to be an absolute dogfight. These two teams are some of the most physical teams in all of the NHL. The Panthers specifically love to get out and hit. They are a team that is led by physicality. That is part of their identity, led by T'Chuk and Sam Bennett over there, who just I won't say headhunt, but love to just be physical with the opponent, get in their heads. It is an incredible move on their part, and has worked for them, especially with a guy like Sergei Bobrovsky behind them. But this series is not going to be easy because the Carolina Hurricanes can match that physicality, and they can deal with that physicality. The Capitals, also a physical team, they are able to deal with that with basically no issues in round two. They've had a lot more time to rest than the Panthers have after going 7 against the Maple Leafs. It's going to be a very tight series. I'm taking the Canes to win this one. I think playing basically 3 years straight of hockey is going to take a toll on anybody. It's too much for the Panthers to handle right now, and I just don't think they have it in them to win yet another series, especially a hard-fought physical one like the Canes are going to make it. This is not going to be an easy win for the Canes, though. Freddie Anderson needs to continue to play at the level that he is playing at. He needs to continue to be someone that they can rely upon to not give up those easy goals, to stand on his head a little bit when need be. But I think if anybody can do it with the way he's playing, he is the hot goaltender right now in the NHL. So I'm taking the Canes in 6 games to take care of the Florida Panthers. On the other side of the bracket, we have a Dallas Stars team taking on a team in the Edmonton Oilers that made it to the Stanley Cup Finals last year. Both of these teams have been deep in the playoffs many a times. These two teams have met in the playoffs before. Right now, these two teams are basically polar opposites. You have on one side Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and that terrifying Edmonton Oilers offense. An Oilers offense that can seemingly put up 10 goals in just about any given night. But they're going up against a very hard and very great defensive team in the Dallas Stars. Jake Ottinger, one of the best goaltenders in the league. He is someone that if you let him get hot, if you let him get comfortable in the crease, you are not going to score a goal on him at all. These are two teams that have been looking to win a cup for a very long time. Canada has not won a cup since the Oilers last did, or I should say, the Canadians last did it in 1993. It has been a very, very long time since the cup returned home to Canada. And I've been betting against this Oilers team for a very long time. I've also been betting on this Stars team for a very long time, but I have been consistently wrong about both of those things. I think Connor McDavid, who is going to go down as either the greatest or the second greatest player in the history of the NHL, depending on how many cups he can win, because ring culture is a thing everywhere. Gretzky won just about everywhere he went, and I don't think he's really ever going to catch up to Gretzky, but being called McJesus over there is no joke. He is a very special player, and he deserves a cup. He's going to get it at some point, and that some point is soon. I think the Oilers are going to give the Stars what they have been, what the Stars have been kind of giving up to a lot of teams so far. The Stars have been prone to giving up a lot of goals against a very similarly high-powered offense in the Avalanche. They went 7 games. Now, I think the Avalanche's overall team, when you take a look at the goaltending, is a little bit better than the one with the Oilers, but it's probably going to be a very similar series, a hard-fought 7 games, but I think the offense of the Oilers is just a little bit better, and there were times where it looked like the Stars were going to stand absolutely no chance in that series against looked like they were never ever going to win a game against the Avs early on in that series. So it's definitely not easy. You need yet another explosion from Mikko Rantanen. And Rantanen has been amazing for about half of the postseason. He's disappeared for about half of it, and he's scored about 3 points a game in the other half of it. You need the good Rantanen to show up in this series. Otherwise, it's going to be wraps. But I'm taking the Oilers in this one to take on the Canes in the Stanley Cup Final. Oilers in 7 games in this one, a very similar series to the round one that we saw between the Avalanche and the Stars. Stanley Cup prediction: I think the Canes take it. I just don't think that I don't think it's that sustainable to go this deep without a goaltender, even with the incredible offense that is Connor McDavid and that line. I just don't think they get it done. I'm taking the Canes to win the Stanley Cup, but we'll go deeper into that if and when that happens in the next round. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think happens in the NHL? What do you think happens in the Stanley Cup? We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we turn our attention to the NFL. Some massive news from around there, some extensions both on the coaching and on the player side of things for the 49ers and the Eagles. We'll talk about that coming up next here on GSMC's Down by Contact Sports Podcast.